Okay, so this is a game that is not necessarily remarkable for the quality of the opponent, but rather amusing for the outcome. My deck, End Project 2, is actually being piloted by a friend of mine. I'm at the bottom here. My Sliver Queen deck. So I was watching this game, but I just had to record it. It was too much fun. You'll see why in a minute. So Nick Proc there is playing Jared Golgari Lichlord, a interesting commander, not as good as the 2 casting cost black-green commander though, that has haste and grows. That thing is quite scary. This thing over here is very slow, and it's double the mana. So my buddy keeps this hand that I think was a little bit of a... It may have been one that I would have mulliganed, actually. I don't know, though. I can't see his hand. I'm just sort of watching from the co-pilot's chair, right? And the other guy gets a Ravenous Rats, so he pitches a Slime. Draws no mana at all, so decides not to sacrifice his Arid Mason. Has no play, which is... I figured he kept it because he had a Tithe or an Enlightened Tutor. Or something like turn to, Stoneforge, Sylvan Library, Dark Confidant, something along those lines. I mean, and when you look at his mana development here, the other guy played Blood Reckoning, by the way. It's awful and ignorable. When you look at his mana development here, he's missing blue. He barely has any green, so... I mean, if it weren't for the fact that the other guy was playing like a bad sealed deck, he obviously would have lost this game, but the other guy gives him like all the time in the world to do whatever he wants, so I mean his first disruption is a 5 mana Encroaching Waste. Definitely doesn't get it there. That card is just disappointing. Could have been so much better. Should have been. Anyway, and bingo. I don't know if he was slow rolling the Cradle, but I have a feeling he just top decked that. But look what happens now. So, remember, last turn he had a Plateau, a Noble Hierarch, and a Draga Tree Speaker. He had 1 land. And 2 creatures. He doesn't even pay the life in Pod here. Because he needs his mana guys so much. So in 1 turn he goes from having 1 land and 4 mana at the most. And I'm just sort of like glossing over what the other guy's doing because it's just a collection of crappy cards. He's basically goldfishing at this point. So now what? So remember, last turn, Plateau and 2 creatures. This turn, what is that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 15 mana on this turn? 16 mana on this turn? 1 mana and... It's just ridiculous. This deck just blows up. I love it. The other guy plays something that could be a threat, so it needs to die. And you're able to see this game the way I am. See, I don't know what else is in his hand. All we can do is kind of watch and hope that things go well here. Hermit goes away, becomes a Sphinx. Seems pretty good. Centaur's Herald, and a Centaur. Ugh. Nothing like a 4 mana 3/3 with no abilities. Or shards. Sure, yeah, that's pretty good with Bod. So Blood Reckoning is obviously dead meat. and the bird takes one to the team to become a Stoneforge Mystic, who gets a Sword of Feast and Famine. So we went from 4 mana on one turn to 11 on the next turn to... let's see how much we have by the end of this turn. I asked him about this. I told him he could just right-click and always yield and always no on the aura shards. But he didn't know about that shortcut, and he was tired of it, so he just killed his own aura shards. Not that it matters. I mean, look at his opponents playing Wasteland Viper, but yeah, Ogre Jailbreaker, but yeah. Anyway, so we went from 4 mana to 11 to, on the next turn, assuming, let's safely assume that he plays a land drop. How much will he have? Well, let's wait and figure it out. So anyway, 4 mana to 11, and currently he's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, so 24, but then the sword's going to double it. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 39, 40, 41, 42. So he went from 4 mana to 11 mana to 42 mana. Yeah, whatever. To... oh, it's getting potted. Stoneforge? Well, what are you going to get? Edric. Of course. Edric, you've got a ton of guys. I think maybe we'll draw a ton of cards now. I asked him what he was holding. Did he have a counter? And he said he had Forbid. So this actually was something that I hadn't... I put Forbid in here because just, you know, it's a great card and you draw a lot of cards. And it was a recent addition. It hasn't even come up yet. But what I didn't realize was actually there was a lock built into the deck. I mean, besides like how good Edric and Forbid is and whatnot, Consecrated Sphinx with a Sword of Feast and Famine and Forbid. If you have nothing but Forbid and 3 mana, you've got this thing going. Your opponent's got no cards. All you have is your Forbid. When he draws a card, you draw 2. He casts a spell. You Forbid with buyback. You hit him with this. If he draws a card and he doesn't cast it, you're going to draw 2, and then you're going to hit him with the Sphinx. And if the card he drew is an instant, he's going to try to Swords the Plowshare as the Sphinx. You're going to Forbid with buyback on your turn, using the 2 cards you drew. And then Sword of Feast and Famine will untap the lands for you, so then when he draws on his turn, you still have Forbid with buyback ready to go. There's no out to this combo that doesn't involve something that's not counterable, like Crows and Grip or something. But basically, it's a pretty insane lock. So anyway, carrying on with his turn, I'm gonna just kind of ramp through some of this stuff, but yeah, let's have some fun. There are many sword triggers going on the stack, or queen triggers rather, and Edric triggers. And sword is going to untap all that mana. I think he just stacks them willy-nilly because he knows the game's over. Normally the right thing to do is stack the sword. Stack all the Edric triggers and put the sword on the top. And then what you do is you resolve the Edric triggers one at a time. Each time looking for a tutor. You'll have already untapped your land with the sword, and you can tutor in response to one of the Edric triggers. Obviously it's not relevant for this game state. So... now what happens? Well, he replays Queen, and then Carrick. So he cradled, so he could cradle into Garricking and cradling. I don't know. I'm trying to keep track of what's going on. It's getting a little bit nutty. And I guess just for novelty, he decides to bribery the guy, and he tells me this guy's deck is so bad. Like, this Duskdale Worm is the absolute best creature that the guy's got. But even so, he wants to bribery him again. Sure, why not? And he gets Terrace Worm. I mean, you can just see the card quality just dropping. Anyway. Queen, 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 queen. Alright, so we went from, what was it, 11 mana to 20-something mana to 50-something mana to... I hesitate to even attempt to count. We can use Gaia's Cradle, once for Garruk, once for itself, once for Sword. So let's just multiply everything by 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21... 6, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, plus the 2 it makes is 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 42, plus 3 is 45, plus he's going to make 2 guys at the end of the turn, which makes 40, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, you can use him again, 56, 57, 58, 59, you can untap one of them with Garruk, that's 60. He's going to play a land which he can use twice, 61, 62. Of course, if he cradles in between the procs, so he's got 62 mana by the end of this turn. But if he cradles in between the procs, he could actually multiply that quite a bit. Not quite exponentially, but I'll leave it to somebody who wants to entertain themselves to figure out actually what the true maximum potential mana he could spend here. If all he did was just cradle, hit with sword, cradle, cradle Garruk, cradle, hit with sword, that kind of a thing. However, the novelty of you'll have to throw in untapping from Treachery too. Well, how ridiculous. How many times, like, Cradle it's just insane in this deck. Also, what's interesting here is how good Queen is. Like, compare how good Queen is in this deck to how good Queen is in the Pure Control deck. Brian went over some of the reasons why Queen is good. Opposition, Shackles, he mentioned Cradle. But look at, Edric. It's just nuts. Aura Shards. There's just so many reasons why this card is completely OP for this deck as a commander. Anyway, so he's going to Treachery. So if any of you math whizzes feel like taking the time and just geeking out and figuring out exactly how much mana he could have, because he actually does this the smart way too. He lets the Treachery resolve, and then the triggered ability to untap the lands. In response to that, he then taps the Cradle, so he gets +1 mana thanks to the guy he stole. But if any of you guys want to figure it out, I'd be really interested in what your conclusion is as far as the absolute maximum possible mana that he could have used this turn, theoretically, assuming the opponent lived through the sword hit. Like, if you just sorted, like you just swung with this and not everybody. Of course, he gets to the point where he's had enough, and I did too, so he just overruns with Garruk. Oh, yeah, and see, I was listing off things that makes Queen amazing, and I completely forgot Garruk. Garruk's overrun, just another reason why Sliver Queen's nuts. Not only does he pump mana into Sliver Queen, but he then turns all the 1/1s into a lethal army. Not that they needed help in this game. So he doesn't bother potting or doing anything else. He just swings with everything. I mean, if that's all you got. And look, the opponent's got a trick that is going to win the game. No, it's not going to win the game. Public Executions. It's a neat little trick. Even if you'd let that resolve, though, I'm pretty sure the guy's dead. I don't know. I don't want to even piece it together. Of course, it's not going to resolve, so. Forbid with buyback says no. Good game, sucker. Minus 146, and look at those triggers. Oh my god. So anyway, this deck is completely absurd. It just does totally obscene things. I don't have the deck list because I was on watching status, but I do have it up on screenshot. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed that insanity there, and as you could see, it wasn't taken to the absolute max. It certainly could have gone even worse than that, even crazier than that, had he really wanted to take it that far. He could have. I don't know. Bottom line is, it's nuts, it's fun, and I hope you enjoyed the game. We'll see you next time.